So minus those games, they have the good read on the map. We need to see what will Savage Squad actually think as attackers, what will they do, because it will tell us a lot about their mentality for the later parts of the game.
Yep, this is looking at the map as if you were south spawn in random battles for esports defenders start south. Sorry, I'm getting them totally writing the wrong way. Yeah, because the map's upside down. Right, so
Heavy brawl setup by Kazna.
That's the wrong way round. That's Kazna playing Kazna.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Well, you do fight yourself when you play the games, always, you know.
Mirror match.
You're just your biggest enemy.
This is going to be good. Oh, Zavala against Zavala. Nope, here we go with the correct teams.
So let's see, Piotr is playing in this lineup of Kazna. There's also, I think there's will also shifted left and right. So they're starting with this lineup. We have 1, 2...
Look at this lineup from Savage.
Is this 3? No, 2 Butchets and 5 EZs. So that's a strong push force, and we have Savage Squad playing more or less the same. They just have only 1 Butchet.
Interesting.
It's going to be a big fight.
So we're going to get a brawl roughly in the middle of the map. The other thing that's really interesting is how much have the teams been looking at each other. Savage Squad, new guys coming into the league, so they would have to spend a lot of the time watching the plays of the other teams, whereas Kazna might just try and do their own thing. Danny already taking connections there in his 5A. Nice shots coming out. Vessel's the one playing closest to the line here for Kazna. Is a bit of a dangerous position as Danny gets a shot into him.
Not a good place to be in because he's now under them. They have the gun depression. They can do whatever they want. That was a careless thing.
Look at this. Look at Call Me Piotr Nexus, Mojo.
Well, they do have to do it. The thing is now, if Savage Squad actually realizes what's going on, they can just push over the rail. And I think they're actually maybe even gathering up for that. Because they have 7 against 5. If Piotr or Nexus get spotted early, they're gonna massacre them, but they're sniping them because they're just carelessly... Come on, guys, why are you doing that?
Savage Squad indecisive here on the rails. They want to push over and they haven't, which has allowed Nexus and Call Me Piotr to now get crossfire shots at him. So the positional advantage they perhaps had here on Kazna Crew has been lost, and Kazna Crew just holding them back and picking their shots. Now Savage Squad are getting shot at from Kazna below them. And they're getting shot at from the 2 Bachats over on the other side. Now, Yizni's been pushed to the top here by Latenza and by Freedom, but Yizni is given as good as he gets. As Latenza's coming off slightly back here, and Freedom, if he peeks, he's going to have somebody shoot on overmatch. Now, Nexus and Call Me Piotr are coming back over, and already Savage Squad are less than half the HP of Kazna Crew, and this fight is already done and dusted.
That was just a nonsense. Like, when they do that kind of peekaboo opening their flanks, I was expecting some kind of determination. When they pushed over that side so aggressive, I was like, okay, they're gonna try to use it and just push with 7 tanks in 5 Kazna guys. Maybe 1 will eat the dust, but everyone else will just do platoons and they will probably win the game because Butchets would be out of the play. But no, they decided for this kind of play and now it's nothing decided. Kazna has 4,000 HP advantage, 2 tanks less. 1, never mind, but they're so low on HP.
Now here comes the push from Savage Squad, but it's too little too late as Raven gets dropped, as Latenza gets dropped, as Zet gets dropped, Luti now gets dropped as well. Alpha is now in the middle of Haiba, Vetzel and Diplomat. They're just going to turn their guns on him and drop him as well. Now Danny is trying to come over for a sneaky shot in the back as Vetzel picks up his double kill for Kazna Crew. Savage Squad only with 2 tanks left, and well, this one is back to the drawing board for Savage Squad for sure.
Well, and if it goes like this, you might get your predicament right, or even it can be worse, because this was not a good play. They need to show us more. They need to show us much more.
Freedom now, the only tank left for his game. Freedom! I don't think he's going to last. Can he do it?
Damage is important, you know.
Yeah, got to get his shells out, got to get his remaining shots out. Now he just sits there and says, okay, finish me off, boys, that's me done. Call Me Piotr with the double kill at the end, and a strong start from Kazna Crew, and a sloppy one there for Savage Squad.
Well, Piotr put him up to the sleep, and I wouldn't say there was anything impressive in this game by either of the sides. It was just standard. Kazna was just sitting there doing some shots if they peek, and they peeked a lot, and got punished for it without any kind of back plan or determination what to do. So the game itself was fast, but nothing to be specifically said about it. Damage is, there we go, VZ.
Haiba is loving the play in the heavies.
Freedom doing 3.8k, but we know that half of that came after it really didn't matter at all.
Danny there as well was one of the last tanks in that brawl. I mean, when they peaked and they have the tanks below them, they know there's 2 Bachats somewhere. The only thing, again, Daki with the same message. Okay, that was the last round, okay? Last match. The when they peek over, okay, they know there's 2 back chats somewhere, but if they'd got over and gone into that dip, then they have the overmatch.
They have an absolute.
Then they're safe from the back chats
They have
as
absolute.
well. Yeah.
Yes, they have absolute overmatch because back chats take time to get there. They can do maybe 1 shot while they're crossing, and that's about
they're
that.
Down in the terrain as well, so it's crazy why. I guess I can only assume that they were confused as to where the back chats could have been or could have gone over. But had they pushed en masse, like you said, they would have had that easily. They would have swept up the heavies from Kazna crew. Then they could have turned and dealt with the back chats and. It would have been a strong win.
We'll see in the next game. Now, the Kazna needs to attack on Prokhorovka. They're seasoned. They, as I said, they know to play this map well, minus the forest pushes. We will just neglect those. But the rest they can do. I mean, the meta changed now a lot, so you can see a heavy brawl setup for the middle. This really reminds me on the old times when you had all tier 8 tanks, and you would just go with the lights on the middle usually and try to make it work immediately.
Yeah. Okay, now that road up the right-hand side is the 1-2 line. We're looking at the map upside down from what you would normally see it in-game. Savage squads, so...
Kazna playing same setup,
Foch
Savage
B coming
squad
out there from
going
Savage
with
squad.
Foch. Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Well, Foch can be positioned on many spots on the map, and he can just be used to hold off any significant push. So, rail, forest, both are viable.
You're looking here from the viewpoint of Kazna crew. They're on the red side. They're on the attack. Kazna crew have the black and white camouflage. Savage squad on the blue side. They have the yellow and black camouflage. They're defending.
I like their camo.
Yeah, it's
it looks
cool camo. Strong push here from both teams into the middle, but look at the difference here with Kazna with their back chats. Call me Piotr and Nexus taking up position on the right-hand side, but Alpha is covering the rails there.
This is the thing now. When you see that the Savage squad has that Foch, unless he actually pushes with the rest of the tanks, as Ducky said once, there is no way to do anything about it. So Kazna knows that, and pushing the Foch could be quite suicidal. I'm just gonna call him that, and you can call him.
It's just right. It's like Ferdinand Foch. It's not Ferdinand Foch, but okay, that's where it's named from. Danny taking a lot of damage there at the top of the screen here in his WZ5A. Now Zet's taking damage as well. So's Alpha. So's Latenza. Alpha taking a little bit more. He has to drop off
is getting wrecked
from that position and returning. Kazna crew. Yep, Yizny's taking a lot of damage, pretty much on a one-shot now himself. Alpha is turning to get more shots off. Nexus smells blood and he's wanting to peek over this area and start farming some damage.
This is the point now. The Savage squad is trying to punish Kazna because they know they have a couple of tanks cut off, but also Latencer and Alpha are cut away from the rest of the fight, so they really can't. And Izne was probably punished by freedom because he's in that position, so he could be shot from the forest, but he is safe now. He's low enough, and Kazna is actually closing in from them from every possible angle. Look at how Piotr and Nexus are working on Latencer, and the rest of the guys don't look better.
This is really nice play there from Kazna crew from their 2 back chats there. Dares had taken out Alpha, so they'd lost the threat of the Foch. Danny moves over here, getting a kill on Diplomat, but in the meantime, Nexus has taken out a tank as well. So Savage squad are down to 3 tanks left. It's Danny, Luti, and Freedom. Kazna crew have 4 tanks left, so I mean it's still semi-equal at the moment, but already Savage squad are starting to lose the trades of the tanks that are remaining. Freedom needs to start doing more damage and not taking damage to be able to survive this one. Vessel gets dropped by Luti, but Kazna crew still have Kobe Piotr pretty much in full health. He's reloading at the moment. When he comes off, he's going to push with Nexus, and well, I think it's still going to be Kazna crew right now.
It's going to be 100%, unlike something really miraculous like multiple Amorex happen. Luti should fall to Piotr, and we have Nexus, don't forget, he's a big damage farmer. So these 2 will definitely finish off Danny.
Danny gets his remaining shot out into Komi Piotr. Now Nexus and Komi Piotr are just going to split either side of him or just sit head on and farm the damage into him. As Komi Piotr is going to get that last shot, pick up the kill. Very nicely done there from Kazna crew. So 2 quick rounds, both going to Kazna crew, 2-0. Savage squad looking a bit
well, Prokhorovka is definitely a bad spot for Savage at the moment. They lost 2-0 to who cares last time also. So not the best match for them, and this was really decisive loss on both sides, like not even close.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes in positioning, spotting, and everything else. So they will have to go to drawing board and rethink entire approach on those maps or just ban it. But considering what they banned before, I would say they're insecure about more than one map.
Nicely done there from Dares. 3.7k damage on that map. Not something you normally see in a heavy tank, but very well played.
Well, there is a lot of heavy tanks here, and they have really nice gun depression. So it's, as I said, like 4K in games will gonna be usual. I'm interested when will someone come with like 6, 7, 8. Wow, Ducky
what
actually.
Happens when he's not. This is what happens now when Ducky's not on the desk. He's just like, hey guys, pop this message.
I have no problem with that because he did mistakes on all of the matches so far.
He had 3 wrong yesterday, so he's just as bad.
It's rough.
It is, yeah. We'll just wait, because now as soon as Daki's not here, now it's our turn to put up messages for Daki. And oh boy, could we put up some fun messages that Daki wouldn't like.
I'm not going that way. That's going to be your life. Savage Squad so far decisively losing to Kazna, and it doesn't look good for them. The next map will be actually Murovanka. Murovanka was traditionally really good map for Kazna, but then they had Stefan. Stefan was the guy usually finding the spotting vehicles and so on. Now, as far as we've seen so far in Murovanka, there was not really a lot of passive spotters. Like it's more rotations and fights.
Yeah, as you're saying, like you could use that light, but you saw it happen with Cameo as soon as he spotted he's dead. And do you put a Batchat in that similar situation? In which case you're losing the potential firepower and rotation power of the Batchat as well. So the change to 770 has kind of affected Murovanka quite a bit compared to how it used to play.
Oops used the light. That was interesting way to use it, I would say. But it can also be a one-trick pony because if someone realizes it, they can deal with it. I guess. Savage Squad is defending here. We can see that they have a light. They have 2 mouse tanks, actually. So that light will be more passive spotter.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's used. There's an STRV coming out there from Kazna crew on the attack.
Well, before it was Grille. Now people are using STRV because also high mobility, potential to put him on a cap, as we've seen it used.
They're expecting something. They were expecting Komi Piotr to go through there. They hadn't moved off.
Oh my God, Piotrek!
Nice connections already there from Savage Squad, and that looked like a rehearsed move. That looked like a, hey guys, get ready for the rush spot in the middle.
Well, Freedom owned him by spot completely. I mean, they can guess that Freedom is in that area, but now he can move wherever they want. So Piotr is still spotted. He needs to be very careful. Someone might actually connect him yet.
Oh, he's undone now, so he gets away safely. Latenza taking up position here. This is normally we'd see perhaps an STB, but what you want to see, Mojo?
This is a huge hit for Kazna now because they lost something they need, an active spotter. You can see they're immediately pushing Haiba. Those 2 Batchats, they know how many shots came. They know there cannot be any tanks down, so they just want to push Haiba in cooldown position as fast as they can to start their own rotations. But Piotr on 1 shot is a huge problem because now, as example, if he goes on a cap, he can be shot in 1 and not run away and survive. He cannot use his mobility to go to, as example, proxy the enemy and so on. It's really a huge strike on any kind of possible tactics Kazna has. Yes, they have all the fighting tanks still, so this can work. Like they can still do the cap pressure and whatever, but this is not a good start for them.
Yep, that's going to be rough. Haiba taking him position here. This was a one where the IS-7s would have a... Oh, okay. Luty's spotted, but he's just off the back hill there. This was an area that used to be an absolute pain in the butt when you tried to drive there previously with an IS-7 because you'd always be lit up by a light and you could never find where that light was. Interesting place where Freedom's sitting. I don't know if the back end of his tank is completely safe.
Diplomat is lit up, but it doesn't give him much info. Not yet. And they still need to deal with all the bushes. Now the problem is this tank is actually lower than 1390 who was a normal spotter. And it's really hard to connect on him. You have to shoot right next to the ground.
How are Kazna crew going to break this, Mojo? What's the plan of action for them?
Well, you can see Isna is shooting all the time. That means he's trying to find where the light is. And you can see the shots coming in. Every shell he has, it just goes, it goes, it goes. So he's just doing the bushes as much as he can together with Diplomat.
We can tab into the laser view as you've seen here, which allows us to see where the tanks are aiming. Always interesting to see this at maps like this when they're trying to spot someone out. That was a bounce there, it looked like. I saw this used earlier on in APAC, which was really awesome because it happened when they were doing Ruinberg and they tried to cross the north area and you could see where all the guns were pre-aiming. So it's really cool to have that additional option to see where people are looking at.
So much problems because of this loss of HP. Like they could use Piotr to just go and do really super fast spots along the buildings, try to clear out the light where he is and so on. But now they're really crippled on just old-fashioned blind shooting. And old-fashioned blind shooting lasts for like 3 or 4 minutes. And if you don't find him, it has to be a cap tactic. It has to be a full push, something. But then you just go into the jaws of the enemy. Like, look at this. Savage Squad actually has about 3,000 HP advantage. Naturally about 2,000 advantage because having 2 mouse tanks, while Kazna has none, plus 1k plus that they shaved off Piotr. So even if they have to sacrifice a full mouse to spot something, and they don't because they have freedom still on 100% HP, Savage Squad should put this game in their pocket, as it goes now.
Yeah, for Kazna to still posture around a base 2 tactic, knowing it is fine well that Savage Squad can just send a mouse out to do the spotting is a bit of a bold situation. Piotr really in a rough spot here. I'm just wondering at what point does Izny say, hey guys, like I'm kind of burning through a lot of ammo here, can I stop doing this? Because he's been shooting solid now for the past 4 minutes.
You can see Izny is positioning to actually start the cap soon, like he's shooting. They're trying to realize the area where the light is, even without connecting him. Like, can he, as example, enter the cap without getting absolutely annihilated? Like, that's his goal.
It's a bold strategy as he moves in ever so carefully. Dare's running along the A line here, might try and give his team some information, because if he can get quite far there without getting spotted, then he is able to tell his team, guys, they are all gathered in the south area of the map.
That's the problem, like, they don't have much option. And there you go, he spotted instantly as he approaches the cap.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but there is a 3 seconds delay, don't forget that.
Ooh.
But lucky him.
It's like a lightsaber fight there, but so many blues aiming towards Izny's direction there, and he just manages to drop over that ridgeline at the perfect
Shiny
time.
disco balls.
Man, he was lucky. There was at least 4 going straight into
He was lucky because no one was actually aimed in that moment there.
Yeah.
But it does give them info, like he can't do that again. He knows that. So there you go, we come again on the same problem.
Oh,
like
Diplo's been hit.
Such a low HP on a light tank, who is the one who is supposed to do that, doesn't really help. Not even slightest.
Blind firing as well, so no one's... Oh, Diplomat is spotted, takes a second shot, has to be very careful. He took a first one there, wasn't spotted, takes a second one when he was spotted. Now, Ders has been spotted north with Vetso as well, so that's going to pull
4 minutes to go.
The attention of Savage Squad to top and bottom, but it doesn't look like Kazna have a plan B here. They've taken lots of damage across the board, and Savage Squad have only taken a single shot on Zet's mouse so far.
Is this spotted that 5,000 of HP advantage here for Savage Squad? They really don't have to do much now. Like, any kind of cap pressure will be easily dealt with because their light is alive and 100% of HP. He can just do a formula drive-by. Someone will decap and he might even survive because he's just that fast.
Vetso trying to aim up shots here onto Ders. Oh, sorry, Vetso was trying to aim up onto Zet, but we see Ders actually getting shot at there from a mouse, it looked like there. So, unfortunate for Kazna crew, they just cannot break this. They're just, it's like a wave crashing up against a rock.
Oh, you can see they have no idea what to do at the moment. They're just trying to shoot something, and at the end, as I said, it's going to be cap pressure on suicidal rush. But as the things stand now, there is nothing that will work in their favor. 5,000 HP advantage. Yes, we saw Deha die in like 10 seconds in the last game, but there is no potential for that in this one.
Danny's taking a bit of damage there, but I was just going to say, like, you're below 3 minutes and only one of your tanks has taken a single shot all battle, you'll be in a quite happy situation as the defenders. Because you can force the brawl. The defending team can happily just sit this one out, let the cap run down, and the attackers have to make the move. It's an advantage the defenders have in these games, that, you know, the more time, the more it plays in their favor.
Well, it also depends a lot on attacking team. Like we've seen yesterday, the approach where everyone with a fast lineup, like Kazna had is example here, just rushed to the upper cap 1 and they shot the enemy team before they even came with mouse tanks to camp anywhere. So that's also doable. There are ways to play things.
Trading off here against tanks. Now look at this, Lute has an idea of almost exactly where Izny is. Izny looks like he's already turning to manoeuvre in the cap circle. There is pressure on, but there's a minute and 6 minutes in the cap circle. There's a minute and 56 in the game. Looks like Kazna crew are realistically really doing this just to bait out Savage Squad because at some
They
point,
have no options.
Yeah, Savage will just send the mouse over.
No, they will send light, freedom.
That's a fair point, actually. They just need to get a spot and a shot, and then that's it.
They can do whatever they want, man. There is like 45 seconds, and freedom just needs to drive by, and one of the guys, like medium, will just fire a
going to
shot.
go down as soon as Zet comes off reload. Yep, Vetzel pushed up and is taken out for his troubles. In the same time, freedom gets the kill on Common Piotr. Yizny's in the cap circle. He is spotted. There's 31 seconds left. He is spotted. He gets down to a one-shot, 118 health left. Well, next shot coming in is going to bounce.
Listevi has brilliant frontal armor, but as soon as you overmatch it or it's just like can shoot the slightest side of it, it's just like a piece of paper. 60 seconds to go, guys. Not really the greatest of the games for Kazna. Lessons to be learned, of course. It's an early season, but they do need the points. So in the defense, they better make it work.
Yep, indeed. I mean, Savage Squad really shouldn't be throwing away their HP here. They're just trying to finish this one out clinically and be in control and not just rush in, knowing that the match is pretty much over. 40 seconds left. Kazna crew only with 2 tanks left in Diplomat and Dares, TVP and Batchat. Dares now being shot as well. He's trying to trade off against Alpha and Zed. Just trying to farm a little bit more damage before he goes. Keep all his people that have picked him in the fantasy team nice and happy, I'm sure. Now he's in a reload, but Latenzer's coming into him with a full clip. Luti's there as well, and he's down in the blink of an eye. Only Diplomat left. He's going to come off reload and try and get some shots as well.
Wow, Diplo still farming the damage.
Yep, there he goes. Now he's in a reload, just hiding, but Zet slowly creeping towards him.
He's going to have to peek left or right. Just peek, who will kill you?
Slowly. Zet's going to get a triple kill from this. Multi-kill. Actually, that was 4 kills from Zet on a multi-kill there.
Well,
so
good for Zed on mouse in Murovanka.
Good for my fantasy points.
Dodgy play by Kazna in the start here, because pretty much those opening 20 seconds of the game costed them entire game here. But now Savage Squad has to do something imaginative and break the Kazna's defense, because Kazna is now defending on Murovanka, and that's always the preferable side. When you have so many heavy tanks as Savage Squad had, maybe the better plan for Kazna would be to push the top cap, but they had one light, and that's a problem in that kind of game, because they can just punch through.
Nicely done there by Dares, coming in 3.2 damage there. Raven
very constant plays by him.
Raven right behind him at 3. I mean, Raven and Zet were 2 people that we expected to be doing well for Savage Squad.
Is it Brand, the 3-eyed Raven?
Brand, the 3-eyed Raven.
I wouldn't know.
But why? Because I'm the 3-eyed Raven. Okay, Brand. Well, good. Yeah, well done. Yeah, I mean, Raven has past experience playing Penta, playing with KB. I'm just going to say KB because I pronounced it wrong in the past. And Zet obviously playing
Legend.
With Legend, and pretty much being the only player in Legend that ever did consistent damage. Yeah. So good to see those 2 topping damage for their team. But yeah, unfortunate for Kazna crew, the damage taken on that T100 right at the start of the battle kind of just ruined the whole plan.
It was something they didn't expect. It was something like almost these guys had an idea that might happen when they saw the lineup of Kazna. So we'll see how it will go in the next game.
Okay, ding ding, round 2. Teams are going to swap positions. We're going to get Kazna crew now on the defense. We're going to get Savage Squad on the attack. Now,
2 FV
I was going to say, if this is the right lineup, it looks interesting and appears from looking at the tanks.
2 TDs, 2 mouse.
That is what they're taking as well. It looked like Kazna had 2 FVs, so we're seeing something new. We're seeing some shenanigans, Mojo.
This is really interesting. I'm just waiting for the game to start before I say anything.
How's this one going to go? Murovanka, teams are all spreading out already. Now, double FV.
I mean,
what does it mean?
That's huge amount of DPM. They have decent gun depression, but also they can get burned and amorect so easily. They have the most precise gun of all the heavies, that's for sure. So sniping-wise, brilliant. Close combat, not so much. As far as Savage Squad, 2 TDs in attack with 2 mouse tanks. It doesn't give them a lot of options because mouse tanks cannot rotate, obviously.
Shenanigans for both teams here, but already Vetzel is taking a lot of damage, and now Yizny is taking damage as well and loses his commander for that. Not a good initial trade there at the start.
And
for
he
Kazna.
probably doesn't use medic because of
Diplomat losing his commander's
cinnamon and
cupola.
buns. I believe you use it.
Cinnamon buns is on the Swedish tanks, yeah.
Oh dear. Then you're using what? Tea?
Tea, I think it is.
Tea and biscuits.
Tea and biscuits, I think, for the British ones. Now, it just shows the turrets that they're going to be shooting at, the areas that they're going to be shooting at. Both Diplomat and Yuzny have taken damage in the exact same areas. So that cupola on the back at the top of the tank.
I mean, it can be penned. The top of it can be penned unless it's really nicely positioned. And these guys definitely have enough penetration to do it. So rather bad start for Kazna, because in this kind of lineup, Savage Squad actually does have enough firepower to just punch through them.
And this is interesting. You can see how the two STRVs are planned to work here. They're planned to give the team additional covering fire over the top. Now, Lute, Pavlo is being sent through the forest. Latenza is going to come and back him up.
Yeah, they need to create alternative crossfire
need to
from the rest
them
of the
somehow.
team. No, they need to create an alternative crossfire because they need to have different angles from the rest of the teams. You cannot push frontally Kazna. Like, that would be a suicide. Even with the amount of mouses and whatever they have, it would just be a plain suicide. But if you create a crossfire, if you take out some of the tanks, maybe if Piotr can fall, maybe they can push Haiba away. Now that's then the game. That's the game for them.
Connection now into Nexus as well. So
having no commander is such a problem for Isne because he never can pick without knowing is he actually spotted.
yeah, he doesn't have a medipack for the tank. So
Yes, Hector, that's what we were talking about.
wow. I mean, you can't turn down tea and biscuits, to be honest, Mojo. If somebody says, do you want tea and biscuits or a medipack, I'm going to take tea and biscuits every time.
Yeah,
You
you're
can't eat a
a tea
bandage.
guy.
I mean, I know somebody who would try and eat a bandage, but you can't eat a bandage normally.
Luti is in a position now to shoot them in the back if something gets spotted, so we need to see who will actually do the spotting. I mean, they have a lot of guys, like Freedom, Latenster, Luti, 3 Bachats.
Nexus! Oh my god, laddie! Do not peek like that again! He is being
He found the
farmed.
enemy.
Yes.
He found the enemy. He definitely found the enemy. It's a shame we don't have the team speak on now. I would like to hear that.
He can't go anywhere. Like,
No, he's stuck.
yeah.
And not only him. Like, entire lineup of Kazna is stuck. And this might be the map where actually Savage Squad will completely outthink them and bring it back to the even game. Because so far Kazna is getting punched and they are definitely not hitting back.
I'm going to send the mouse round the other side of the hill now. Looking like it, perhaps. Try and get a push down into Nexus because he's going to be stuck behind that building. Now, Latenza's moving back up. Luti is still down the bottom.
Yeah, he can stay there and have the crossfire, as we said already.
Gives the team additional support here. They can just move up unchallenged with the two heavies. Alpha and Zet both spotted, but Alpha is on the inside of Zet, so that any shot's going to come in, they're likely to go to Alpha, which still allows Zet to preserve his HP. Diplomat trying to peek over here. Nice one through the front of the mouse, but he takes a shot in return for that.
Yeah, it's not really worth it when you are shooting on people who have 3k HP and you take the shot back. The only guy with 100% HP here is Durs, and called me Piotr for the Kazna side. Savage Squad, more or less, the only guy damaged enough is Alpha, but that still makes him above 1200 HP. That's like in worst case scenario 3 shots.
They're still continuing their advance. The two Maus can move along here. Mausen, I believe, is the way to say it, or Moisen. Sorry, any Germans listening with my terrible
That would be a tier 9,
accent.
Ryan, and this is just a mouse.
No, it's for a pair of Maus, or multiple Maus,
okay.
because it's not Mausies. It's Moise, I believe, is pronounced. I'm getting that totally wrong. German guys are shaking their head and hurling
I
at me suddenly.
really cannot pretend to be German, but what they're doing is trying to make a crossfire to make Kazna fall down, so they can actually push around from this side and pressure the lower cap, position the Bacha there. They already have Luti covering them, so one guy can just go in the cap and pretty much be unchallenged because there is not a single soul from Kazna who can safely go and challenge it. That means Kazna will be forced to counter-attack on STRVs, taking a lot of shots, and that's not going to end well. And then they can just do multiple pressure on the cap and finish it off. So Kazna is pretty much in a checkmate here now, and unless something really miraculous happens, it's not going to be their game.
Yeah, HP difference, Kazna crew down.
Positions, more importantly.
Yep, roughly about 2k here. And it's just been more or less just outplayed by Savage Squad here. Kazna trying to do something different with their lineup, and it's not really worked out for them at all here.
Well, Savage Squad also did a lot different with their lineup, and it worked quite well. As I said, like if they do less memes and more tactics, this can actually happen.
Yeah, it's not given really Kazna much to come back on. All of their tanks, other than theirs, have all bled health at the moment. Savage Squad still have Danny and Freedom on full health in their STRV and their back chat. Just as I say that though, Danny gets himself shot. Nice, Danny, nice.
56 seconds on a cap. Latencer with a lot of HP is pressuring the cap. Piotr is saving himself for that, I guess, final push where he will try to do a YOLO decap, but he's also about the same HP is Latencer, so it's going to be one-on-one fight. It's not going to really help much. It's 3000 HP difference here. Danny can't find the target, so he's pushing forward so he can get some kind of crossfire on theirs, but it's just not working out now.
Call me Piotr rushing the cap now to get the spots as we're down to 26 seconds. Danny's taking a little bit of damage. He's trying to get a shot at Luti, but Luti's running off. He's on a reload. Call me Piotr only has 2 shots, but look at the damage he's taken for doing that. Down to 69 health, he's about to fall. Haiba has dropped in the pattern. Now Call me Piotr gets dropped. Kazna crew only with 3 tanks left. Savage Squad still have all 7 guns in the game as Zet now picks up Nexus. Vetso and Yisne are the only ones alive, and well, this is going to be something for the teams to analyse afterwards and just find out exactly how Savage Squad's thing worked and what Kazna crew were trying to do with their tactics.
It's just a massacre. Like, as Savage Squad lost Prokhorovka and they were really butchered there, this is exact answer from Savage Squad, and the best one, coming back in a game in a strong fashion, good tactics, good execution. So we are actually watching a match here and not a one-sided stomp.
Yeah, I mean, they played rubbish, to be honest, in the first match of the day, first map of the day, sorry, on Proc, but then coming back here and taking 2 rounds on Mura, exactly what you want to do. Look at this, top 5 damage dealers all coming out.
That's really one-sided.
From Savage Squad. And it tells its own story. It was a one-sided stomp both rounds, really, to be honest. Kazna crew getting the tank spoiled out in the first round, and this one just tactically outplayed Kazna's picks, trying to do something new, but really not a good counter to what Savage Squad had.
No, I think they neglected the lower part. Kazna should have played more Forest, and I was hoping that that will be their play. But positioning tanks so high up against 2 mouse and 2 STRVs, like even if it was only 1 STRV and both of the mouses and some Bacha just controlling, there will still be huge amount of pressure from the lower side.
Yeah.
And they simply had no control. They allowed themselves to get boxed in, and that was the result. Never, never, ever allow yourself to get boxed in one corner unless you know you have a way out where you can do a strong counter push on enemy. But we will watch now Sand River, and Sand River is all about rotations. We will actually see how well are both teams dealing with transitions now, the changes of the players, because the rotations tell everything there.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Sand River, it's something I like casting. It's a new one. We're getting to see plenty of it. The teams are certainly not backing away from it. Again, like I was saying, perhaps the teams are just not wanting to give up Sand River for something that they're particularly worse on or don't want to see. Tacker spawning, we're seeing north side of the map, but usually, I mean, it depends really what side you're on. Looking at the map. Now, lineups here, we can see what looks like a Kramwagen, STRV, sorry, coming out there for Savage Squad as well. And then the pattern, we're starting to see the pattern become a regular tank now, really, I would say, a regular pick.
It's interesting, like in this season, we were debating, will any of the buffed mediums be used? Answer is quite obvious. Patton is really nice. I even played it in randoms myself, and it's really enjoyable to play it now after so long time. This is something we've seen before. In defense, STRV is going to get pushed on the top of the hill. It's really superior position for dominating the map. And Kazna is playing super aggressive play toward the upper cap, so we're going to have a fight rather soon.
Yeah, Kazna crew are pushing across here towards base 2. I mean, this is something we said earlier on. Most of the fights happen around base 2 because base 1 is so exposed, so you don't have a lot of maneuverability around base 2. But Kazna crew are pushing up here. Let's listen into their team speak.
Reloading, I'm starting camp.
Can we go up this?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm reload. They're
Also
moving
ready.
One guy
easily.
here. Two right.
SRV is up. SRV is clamped. He shot me.
I'm
once.
reload.
I'm on reload.
Same here, same here.
Where's the other
Can
bitch also spotted?
I will spot up.
I'm spotting here the approach.
I'm also gonna
SRV.
cap now. Triple cap, Dave.
I got your back.
15 seconds.
I'm spotting the cross.
Aim behind you. Like, behind.
No, I think
I got Hyper's
Busy will
back.
pick.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we need to be ready if the battle comes from behind.
I'll go spot
After you can aim
budget
it.
on zero, okay?
But can you play hold on
No,
them?
the
Yes.
We should kill now this set.
We should
Okay.
kill this side, yeah.
Yeah, Piotr, you need to
We
go
exit,
hit your
we
shots.
exit.
You need to hit your shots.
You shot? Wait.
Wait, I can just peek on the roof.
Second.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
Fire.
Give me a Nexus sometime.
I finished.
Latancer -2. Latancer
Go back.
-2.
Ignore the SRV.
Pablo fired.
Pablo.
I got one.
You finish.
I
I'm
finish.
flipping Badget. I'm entering into Badget.
Badger 2, I got 2 for bed.
Reload on me.
How much? How much
I
is
can
that?
one more
Kill
shot.
back. Kill back.
Reload.
I can finish
I
with
finished
that.
pattern.
Are you sure?
Easy. Start the cap again.
Good job.
Oh
Actually, Lancaster
my.
and many shells.
He
SRV.
fired 3 on me, 2 on me.
then is 4, -4.
Don't get into the crosshair.
Empty then.
I'm coming to you.
Is that your
27.
reload?
There's also
15,
help out.
15.
There's help out to Latancer. SRV enemy, SRV shot.
I'm shooting him.
Yeah, right.
Very coordinated comms there from Kazna crew Mojo.
A lot of bacha training today going on.
Yeah, but very coordinated, very coordinated, very informative as well, and in the way that Oops were informative, always telling each other what's going on, who's covering each other, who has shots, who doesn't have shots, everything like that.
I would say their tactic was really good. They predicted well what will Savage Squad do when they saw an STRV because it was used before.
Yeah.
Climbing an STRV up, if you guessed it, like they certainly can guess it. And what they did is just exact counter against it. Like they more or less almost guessed the entire set of positions which Savage Squad is using, and they just butchered through it easily, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it started off a quick cap rush. We see a lot of teams kind of sometimes do that. They think to themselves, should we go straight in for the cap or should we kind of play for it and then move in? That's what Oops did. They kind of pushed up for it, then moved in, whereas Kazna just went straight for the cap. Raven coming out top damage is one of the last tanks alive for his team, just farming a bit of damage. And then call me Piotr in the 113 doing top damage for his team. Nice amount of assist as well.
Well, a lot of guys here. Of course, Kazna will have like the top damage, more or less. It's even strange that Raven came in there, but it doesn't really matter. The damage of Savage Squad was not focused. Kazna was focused on one by one guy, and they just fell.
Yeah.
It was just like a domino effect. You could see at the end of the day they had like a lot of guys on 1 shot or 2 shot, but it doesn't matter. Like they were just taking the guns down, and that's what matters in any kind of game. Like whether it is a gold league or a clan war or a tournament or randoms, whatever.
Get rid of the gun, get the shot, tell somebody if you're going to finish them, and then scream if your shot bounces.
Well, we're going to see how will Kazna handle defense, but they had a super strong game against Ding, if you remember. Sand River was really good for them. They played quite exceptional. They're surprising, and they're changing the tactics all over, so that's good. They're not avoiding the new map. They were preparing for it. And if Savage Squad is not careful now, they actually might end up on 2-4 score. Maybe you will even be right.
Possibly. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves,
Let's
Mojo.
see.
If there's one thing that is common throughout this season is that I cannot predict
Well, when we go
scores.
to mines, Kazna is actually defending first. You might actually be right, Ryan.
Steady, Mojo, steady.
I'm trying to
you're
curse you
jinxing
as much as I
You're
can.
jinxing it. You're jinxing it as best as you can. Now the teams are going to swap position. Kazna crew is going to be on the defense here. Sand River, Savage Squad is going to be on the attack. Now, I wonder if Savage Squad are going to try something different. I would love to see something played out at Cap 1, but Daki said it's just not happening. Cap 1 is just too open for stuff to be done on. A lot of the meta just now is up at Cap 2. Hopefully, as the season progresses, we can see things start to change on Sand River. It's a new map. Teams are playing it. There's always the potential for new stuff to come out. Now, Kazna crew taking Kramwagen. Hyber's going to be playing that. WZ5A, multiple bat chats, IS7, and a pattern. Savage Squad taking fairly standard tanks we've seen so far. Nothing too exciting or out of the ordinary that I could notice there.
They took a pattern in attack. So that's
Pattern in attack, okay,
Yes.
that's interesting. 4 5As, pattern, and 2 bat chats. Okay, and immediately Kazna crew are going to push Val up to that area. And look at this from Savage Squad. They're going to push Alpha up into that position to give additional
That's a neat trick.
viewpoint.
Anyone who is watching, you can use this in clan wars, guys, or skirmishes, advances. It's really OP position for controlling the upper part to stop enemy advance because it's really hard to counter it.
Now that it's been seen on our ESL channel, however, it's going to be removed in the next patch by Wargaming probably. And this one as well. Everything that people are showing right now, there's something at Wargaming probably going to
honestly,
go,
it takes...
oh, wait a minute, that's not intended. That's
well,
off.
it takes a couple of patches though, so enjoy it.
Yeah,
there is
maybe.
plenty of time to do
I
it.
think they're going to be quick. After trying to block previous claims, I think next patch more claims are going to get, more stuff's going to get removed.
We're gonna see when it comes Diplomat having a 9-second reload. What is he missing here? He has coated instead of ventilation on his visit.
Well spotted, Mojo. You like,
I have
you
my
like,
glasses on, mate.
You got your glasses
and
on.
I actually cleared them.
Yeah, mine's actually clean. I'm getting a bit of glare right now off of the spotlights. Latens are taking a bit of damage there in his back chat for Savage Squads. That's the first damage coming out in this battle, going to Kazna Crew's favour. Diplomat just peeking up over the ridgeline there, trying to see if he can see anything for his team.
That's why he has coated, as we established already. He's just peeking with the top of his turret. No intention to shoot anyone whatsoever. That would be a plain suicide. Nexus playing a cooldown from here.
This is a dank position, to be honest.
Also has coated, also has cola. So he will see quite a bit if Diplomat has to fall down. And he can also connect really nice with this gun. And there we go. A trap here by Vetso and Isne, hiding behind the dune, hoping that maybe a solo bachat will come and check out what's going on the lower side of the map, guys. But there is a really strong push coming in here from the visits of Savage Squad, so I guess they're gonna just try to pressure the cap here.
All 4 tanks spotted out. And they can see tanks in return. Now let's listen into the team speak of Savage Squad to see how they're going to try and...
Nice, too fast.
Or just like go like triple cap.
Yeah.
If you can see the crowd.
Yeah, have to. We have to send those batches there, man, and fucking look at there.
Yeah.
Okay, they want to speak.
We have 4 VZs, one
Triple cap.
bad here, -1.
Okay, triple cap.
Maybe one VZ go forward? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go forward. I'll go forward.
Так, слышь, я туда подожмусь.
Go more back, go more back.
I'll
More back,
block
more back, more back.
I'll block them.
О, окей.
I7 is...
Well, maybe we should be ready to pick on this, what do you think?
Yeah. After he
So-
comes here,
Go more forward,
Вниз,
forward.
вниз, слышь? Если что,
Да,
то
делаю.
точно с ними.
just wait.
Oh, okay.
Just wait, don't waste your patch.
Yeah, but I7 is coming.
I7,
Yeah,
yeah,
I7.
I'll block him. I will block him.
VZ, VZ.
He got VC.
Yeah.
He bounced, okay.
Okay, two bats.
He's crossing.
Two bats in middle.
Sam,
We are
crossing.
still
Three
capping,
shots.
we are still capping.
Bala shot, they can't recap. Stay safe.
Diplo can. Start going back. Go back.
He bounced.
Oh! Oh! We were talking about this, like, as an instant said, TeamSpeak said he can't reset, and I says he can, Diplomat can reset, and then you went, he bounced, and that was it. Wow.
Oh man, like there is a tear coming here, you know?
Oh.
Like that. Okay, that was a live fail.
Hey, Kazna, you just triple capped. We're going to triple cap.
No, you just got wild bunched.
Wow.
Pretty much. Well, easiest win for Savage Squad in this game, and this was really fast win also.
Yes.
So if there is a
That was quicker.
tiebreaker,
That was quicker than Kazna's.
and potentially, this is a tiebreaker match now we're talking about, because the next map is mines. Unless some of them make a crucial mistake, it's gonna be 1-1 again, and Kazna is gonna have to play a tiebreaker on Murovanka.
You jinxed it. You jinxed it, Mojo.
And Murovanka was brilliantly displayed by them so far.
Jinxed the results, Mojo.
Well, I told you, we're gonna probably both get it wrong if this happens.
You said if Kazna win this one, then it's going to be 5-2.
Yes.
And you said if they don't, it's going to be tiebreaker. You jinxed it, Mojo.
That's
You
what I
jinxed
think.
my predictions. That's what it was.
Well, you lost them. I still have a slight chance. Let's go.
He demo.
You demo.
Okay. Now, Kazna has a habit of no resetting the cap, remember, versus Navi.
Things happen,
Habit?
and that's so true.
Habit's only got 1B.
That's so true. That usually happens on Murovanka also.
Yep.
But we will see what will happen there. Now, this was not really a happy result for Kazna. Like, in all honesty, they were hoping for a match point there. But what they got is defense on mines, so that's also close to match point.
True, true. I mean, we've seen teams starting to break the defense of mines as well, so that is going to be the test of teams, I think, on this map, is what you're going to do that's going to break the defensive team, and for the defensive team, it's how well can you hold your lines. hyper defensive map mines because the way you have to play into the cap circles.
Yeah, also you can play it aggressive because obviously they don't know each other tank lineup until the game appears.
Blinds, yeah.
So it's a lot of mind games there. Like, will you decide for a faster, slower setup? Will you have RT or not? It's completely different set of mechanics to fight against any of that. But anyways, what we saw so far, boosts are pretty much useless so far. We haven't seen it used successfully, not even once yet.
Yep, I mean, it's worth saying when you're talking about the tank picks, you don't know what your opponent picks until literally 30 seconds before the battle starts and the teams form up in the room. So that's the first time you see the enemy tanks, and usually you can decide either then whether you're going to still stick with your tactics or whether your tactics just get thrown out the window because you're going to try and counter what the enemy's bringing.
A super defensive setup by Kazna. Obviously, they're not going to charge the hill with this.
Hill Russian mouse.
Yeah, let's see what will Savage Squad actually do.
Savage Squad are going to be receiving, oh sorry, the Kazna crew are going to be receiving the charge here on the defense, red side, Savage Squad attacking on the blue side. Now, Nexus is setting up in defensive position on his hill, Freedom pushing across here into the middle of the map to try and get out some vision, get some proxy spots. Latenza coming around the top of the hill, and yeah, Kazna crew have set up their stall.
So, just some spotting action here by Latencer and Freedom. They were making sure... Nice connection, actually, yeah. They were just making sure no one is trying to do any kind of sneaky push on that side.
Well.
But that is not really needed because the only guy who can do any kind of push is Algo. And Piotr will definitely not go there. We already established like the use of the light tank is primarily for that H2 position. Because of the low silhouette, he can get a really good gun solutions while you have to expose yourself to kill him. But as we saw on Oops example, it can be dealt with. Like what Kazna is playing is exactly what Tesuba played, if you remember, and it just didn't work out for them. The only difference is Haiba is in base and not in the middle of the map, which is why Latenster was shooting him like that while he was moving away.
I mean, Haiba's already taken one shot, Nexus has taken two. Now, that puts Kazna crew at a further HP disadvantage already, so...
It's 2000 HP advantage for Savage Squad, but it's not enough. Now we need to see like what kind of mind play Savage Squad wants to do. Like they have 3 mouse tanks, 3. So I was wondering if you remember before.
It's going for the client? No.
Will they try to do kind of push away, like fake push on that one side, try to master enemy to shoot at mouse tanks and then climb one bachat up?
Well,
because that could really massacre Kazna.
If they can do a push and do some kind of distraction to get the batch up, then it's a fantastic maneuver. But as we saw on the American server, if you just carelessly try and do the climb like it's the olden days, you will get absolutely smashed by
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Type
Like,
5
really try to occupy their attention with mouses, so maybe one of the bachats climbs up and other guys are just covering. But it's also a risk because you lose on firepower. You need to survive in the houses while he's doing the climb, while he goes up and establishes the position.
I think you're right, and this is...
It doesn't have to be. They can just push parallel with mouse tanks.
This could be like a very important thing for Freedom, whether he makes this or not.
Yeah, but the thing is, Haiba is in base. So this is really good for Kazna. And they are also not spotting anything on island. So they know there is something cooking up in that corner. They must know it.
Now, Nexus has shots in that way. Netso has shots over that way. Yizne, I think, might be able to take a shot. It looks like they're doing it. Are they going to... Oh, this is going to be great. If we can hold that position, that camera point, when they go to make the move, we might see either the death of a Batchat or the glorious climb. So the mouses are pushing. There's a distraction coming in. The Batchats are sitting up behind them. They're not rushing for the climb just yet. At what point will they do it?
The thing is, they might actually just push and try to kill Algo also.
Possibly. The Batchats are moving up behind them, so the Batchats are unspotted. First shot coming in, Alpha getting focused a little bit there. 2 shots coming into him. They do see Yizne to get shot into Haiba in the background. The Batchats are moving up now as well. You can see shots going into the mouse here. Now the Batchats are coming down. It looks like they're not spotted wherever they are, because this is a viewpoint of Kazna crew and what they can see on the minimap. The Batchats are coming down behind them, Mojo. They're coming down behind them, so everyone's coming down here. Like you said, they're going to try and get the kill onto Algo, then these Batchats can carry on past them. So Freedom takes a lot of damage for that. Freedom down to only 68 health. Savage Squad, this push might work if they can preserve their HP.
Freedom is going to definitely fall very soon and Haiba reloads, but he already served his purpose. Vetso is completely annihilated. That's the tank that was below the hill. Algo is annihilated. Haiba is trying to protect Nexus, so they're trying to hold them off here. But this is really strong push. There is 4 tanks compared to 2.
Danny and Raven coming over as well to give their support into the rest of the team as well. Now Haiba takes more damage as Zet can now take the charge for his team, and Alpha's coming up behind him. So the heavies are trying to protect the damage dealers at the back. Luti comes round as well, trying to get shots into Haiba. Diplomat's about to come off reload. He's going to get a big shot into someone in just a second. But no, Raven gets a kill there into Haiba. Zet takes that shot from Diplomat. And now look at this, the additional overmatch coming in from the Savage Squad down the middle. Danny's still alive doing damage. Komi Pure's running away, and Kazna crew now left with only 3 tanks standing.
This is not really looking well for Kazna. HP-wise, 2k HP, it doesn't sound like much, but only 3 guns compared to 5. Zet is getting massacred now while they're trying to dig them out. But let's not forget, one of the guns that Kazna has is actually Piotr in his light tank. And he can't really deal with some of these tanks. Like Alpha, he can barely pen him anyway.
Looks like a bit of hesitation there from Yuzny as to where to shoot, but now Latenza can come around to get a clip out into Yuzny. Yuzny's going to try and turn to shoot him, but that means he's going to get himself exposed to the mouse. Latenza needs to save his HP. We'll get his Danny's now shooting back into Komi Piotr, so that's nice coverage for his teammate. Diplomat now with a wing and a prayer in his E4. Gets another shot there into Alpha, but now he's focused. He's going to get surrounded and switch from both sides. And this is it. GG Savage Squad, and a very nice break of the defense by them.
Yeah, this was done really neatly. Kazna went to a habit of just playing passive, and we can see this passive defense can be broken rather easily. Like we've seen the effort from Oops, it was much harder, but it was doable. This plan was even stronger here by Savage Squad, and now Savage Squad will go to defense, and we might not see a tiebreaker here. We actually might see a shocking win for Savage Squad because they are on a match point and they are on a favorable side now.
Match point. Latenza, one of the bat chats that came down there with the heavies coming out top damage.
Latenza survived so long.
Yeah, great amount of damage. Diplomat swinging right till the end there, 3.1. Zet and his mouse, he was the vanguard leading the charge there.
There was 3 mouse tanks, so he was the one
3K.
least focused, and he definitely penned the most of the shots.
But yeah, it was good. They had the double mouse, they had the 113 there, they had the 2 bat chats, and Algo got dropped in the flash. Vexel went down right behind him, and Haiba...
It was a good plan. 5 tanks from one side, 2 tanks from the middle. This is something that... That's better than you, Ducky. At least I had 1 correct and you flunked them all, man. So, like, I spoke to Ducky a while ago and he said, like, the way to break this could be a pincer attack. We've seen it happen in multiple.
East,
So they push here strong with mouse tanks. They occupied all the tension. When they pushed Haiba and E4 back, Haiba and Nexus, they were shot from the middle. The guys on the middle took a lot of damage approaching the rock, but once they were there, they were safe and they could just pump the damage up. And that's all they needed, overmatching guns.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Haiba and Nexus surviving for as long as they could there, but a nicely executed push there from Savage Squad. Very nicely done, very nicely done. We thought there was perhaps going to be a boost. I mean, I guess if Kazna had spotted out the back chats, they could have maybe thought that there was going to be a boost coming down, but no, it was an overwhelming. It was a lemming train almost in a way.
No, that's what I said. Like, it's really risky if you climb someone up. You can lose a lot of gunpowder. So it's better even to brawl.
Wow.
Kazna playing with
look how heavy
GC. This is something they played before. If you remember, Isne got chased by Mary.
Yeah.
In a game against Ding, so they didn't work out really well. I'm pretty sure Savage Squad is well aware of it, so let's see how will they actually play this out.
That's a super heavy lineup from Savage Squad though. Freedom in the T100, everyone else on heavy tanks. Look at the HP difference starting off with here. 4.8k already above Kazna crew to start with.
No, but look at their positions, like they're not even moving yet.
They were expecting to perhaps see
and Piotr is not playing a Russian light, but a French one.
So he's able to get across to the island safe. Diplomat is spotted, but nobody's shooting at him. So how are Savage Squad going to do this? Are they going to do an aggressive defense, or are they going to play passive defense?
Is this a loader or a Amorek, Ryan?
It was an vertical as Amorak, because the loader lies down, and that's how I can remember it to my head. The loader's vertical. There we go.
You do know, you just said the opposite of
I've
what
got
it
a
was.
way. I've got a way to say it in my head. If it's vertical, it's an ammo rack, and if it's the loader it's sideways. It's horizontal, because to me the loader he's lying down now if he gets taken out.
You know, he's just not like that.
Well, see, things don't work well in my head, Mojo. You know this.
I noticed. There is a connection by Artie here on PZ. So he took a brunt of damage, but it's only 300, so it doesn't really matter. Still about 4,000 HP advantage here for Savage Squad. That's quite a chunk of armor and HP, and this is what I thought it actually might happen. They're gonna let Kazna go up on a hill and just push with pure brunt force. If Nexus doesn't see them, he can get really in a lot of pain.
Oh, Nexus drives up. They are spotted, but they don't know Nexus is there. Nexus can do a bit of damage, but the minute he shoots, he's going to get
They're
spotted.
still gathering their forces.
And you really don't want a Type 5 Heavy to shoot a batch at. Splash damage coming in there from the artillery. They're
Yeah,
about
it's
to make
every
the
once
push.
40 seconds.
And there they go. They all repair that straight away with the medipacks and carry on. Now Nexus can farm a bit of damage here into the tanks as they go up, but they're just going to bully the Kazna tanks here off the hill. But look at this, Nexus spreading his shots. Danny and Latenza though went to aim there. Hyber's going to come round as well, try and get a shot in. Now look at this, Diplomat and Vetso peeking round the corner. Very bold from them. I would get the hell off that hill right now. As Vetso takes a hit, and this is going to hurt for those tanks.
Oh my god, they're actually not running from the hill. Now it's too late. Hyba and everyone else have to commit now and try to fight it off. There must be a huge counter push by Kazna in this moment.
This is going to work though with artillery, giving them additional support though, because artillery can stun them. When you can see there, Lute is taking arty splash damage. The tank that was right beside him, which was Alpha, and his mouse is being focused. Kazna crew look like they're actually going to take this fight. Val and Diplomat can just drive round the slow heavies and get them away. Vessel drops off the far side. He's on small bit of damage there, 430 health, so he can get away. Lute is being focused right moment. He's just stuck in no man's land as Diplomat takes him down. They're not running from the hill. Kazna crew saying, okay, you want to fight? We'll fight.
I don't understand why Zdan is still back and Raven, because they could have been with the rest of the team and they would definitely be needed. This game is far from over. Savage Squad still has 2000 HP advantage, though only one gun more. But let's not forget, Call Me Piotr is a light 10. He will pump a couple of shells now in the back of these heavies. But still, there is a huge advantage in guns.
Diplomat's going to go down here. Vetsel's a non-factor in this fight, and Hyba's going to drop down. So once this happens, Vetsel's now on a one-shot. Look at this Hyba survivor on 64 health. They take out 2 more tanks, though, so it's now 3 on 4. They need to get a kill somewhere else if Savage God want to keep surviving, because Yizne is just going to drop shot after shot down on top of them.
Just didn't pen a shell on Nexus. He just did 400 damage, and that's going to pretty much solve the game, probably, because Nexus can't do something about it. But they're sticking together. There is 6 minutes. Let's see, can Artie actually do any difference? A light tank, Call Me Piotr and Nexus. That's the only firepower that Kazna effectively has now. These two guys can pretty much one-shoot them. Like Type 5 can one-shoot Piotr. He can one-shoot Nexus if he pens. But Artie can also harass those two guys a lot.
High pressure moment here for the two heavies.
He needs to be a cap on a number 2 cap.
I was going to say is they're going to have to do something to split the attention of these two heavies, because arguably the heavies' strength here is to stick together and not get harassed by Yizne. The rotational power here of Call Me Piotr and Nexus is far superior to what Zet and Latenza can do to react to it.
He has to be light tank in number 2 cap and budget covering somewhere to do damage in their flank while they're trying to approach. Spotting them for Yizne also, and then light tank runs away. This is the only way I can see. Like, they cannot really fight them frontal. There's going to be a suicide. So it has to be something like that. Come on, guys, make a decision.
Kazna crew are the attacking team. They need to make a play here, because Savage Squad are happily just to shore up behind terrain and keep themselves safe from Yizne. And they're going to know exactly where Yizne is as well. They're going to know he's in A1. You can see this from the position of Latenza.
This is the thing. Like, when they saw Nexus run away, if I were them, I would actually push for the base of Kazna to kill Yizne. Because if he's dead, Bachat and a light tank would have a really super hard time to kill them. But camping will not win them the game. That's the problem. Yes, they're slow, yes, they're big, but sitting here will not win them the game, because Kazna guys can do exactly as I said. Just start a cap, position Nexus to shoot them, and spot them while they're approaching. So Yizne can do shots, he can do full clip, and then the light tank can run away.
Latenza spots Nexus, can he get shot?
Oh,
no, he misses.
Lucky.
Oh, had he connected with that? I mean, he's lucky as well, because the Conqueror is on reloads.
Dude, that would lower Nexus on really arguable one-shot for Type 5.
Yep. And this is the thing, if the Type 5 connects on to Call Me Piotr, it's going to be brutal. Oh, Latenza, don't peek again, mate. That's bold. I think he's wanting to try and get. I mean, he just got his
4
commanders.
minutes.
He just lost his commander's viewport as well. His commander's cupola.
Who cares about that? He's
It's-
high
it's-
heavy.
yeah, but no, but it was. Oh, okay, I was thinking of Latenza there. I was gonna say it affects his vision, but still, it's what we talked about. The Conqueror is chipping away at the health. Savage need to keep himself safe for as long as possible and force Kazna into making this move.
Now they're forced in a time kind of game to hope that they will connect one big shot on light tank or Bachat, and it's all gonna actually evolve around that. About some movement and some RNG in last moments. RNG is gonna decide a lot in this game.
Don't say that, Mojo. RNG is not the big decider here. It's player skill and tactics.
Yes, aim for the weak spot with Type 5. It's gonna be guaranteed that you will hit what you aim for.
So yeah, Cap being started here by Call Me Piotr. Now he has Nexus at F1 covering him here. If the heavies are going to come in to reset, they're going to come from the middle.
They're gonna come straight above him and from the lower side.
And want to keep themselves safe from Ari. Now, at what point do you potentially... I mean, I was thinking that you perhaps send Yizny out as a distraction. He would take a shot.
No, you need Isne to do the shot. And he needs to do as much shots he can, because even when they start firing on the first tank, it's not going to end like easily there unless Nexus spends all the shells.
Latenza's going north. If he can spot Yizny here.
Isne is behind the bush, so no, but he can do spotting on Nexus if Nexus is in a weird position. So they just don't want to do the obvious. They want to come from two sides. They're going to come from two sides so the light tank cannot run away. That's what they want to do.
And it's Latenza spotted. So
nice view for Artie here.
Yizny using alternative view mode. Lead him a bit, Yizny. Come on, mate. Oh, he's got a rock in his way.
He would die if he fired Isne, so that's why he didn't. This is much better what he did and much smarter.
He's leading him. Zet spotted, Call Me Piotr spotted. So Yizny shoots.
There should be a connection.
Latenza. Latenza backs off a bit. Call Me Piotr gets connected on by Zet, but it's 409, so it's not a pen. So Nexus now starts farming into Latenza, into his flank. Latenza's going to go down here unless he can angle, which he can't. So Nexus picks up the triple kill. Can Zet get a kill on anyone? Nope, he's still reloading. I don't think he has vision on Call Me Piotr. He knows where Nexus is as well, but nope, this is going to be Kazna's one.
It's not over yet, it's a minute and a half. And if Zet actually effectively deletes Nexus, while Nexus is trying to approach to shoot him, he can still win the game. Because light tank doesn't have the potential to kill him.
For a little bit.
Isne needs to do one more connection. He must do one more connection.
Cap pressure here. Looks like Call Me Piotr is just going to distract him and shoot him as well. As we're down to a minute and 10 seconds. Yizny with the proxy spot, very nicely done, driving up underneath Zet to keep him visible for his team. Now Zet might drive down here into Nexus. Call Me Piotr is 3 shots in his tank. Zet's just playing safe from Nexus. Zet has to play for time here. If Zet wants to win this
Nexus is spotted.
he has to play for time. Now there's the shots coming out from Call Me Piotr, but like you said, it's not going to be enough to take him down.
This is really important shot that Piotr did, because
Yizny's going to shotgun him.
It's a high alpha shot he did, and he penned the Type 5. So that's really important. It gives a lot of opportunities to Nexus.
Oh, Zet. Now here comes Nexus. He's going to get a shot line on him. Yizny's there to shotgun him as well. Zet's going to have to choose. He's not facing that way. Nexus doesn't pin with the first one.
He's going to fall down in water.
Zet's round the corner. He's going to get round the corner, and that's where Yizny was earlier on. So Zet shot on his way down. Did he just fluff his chance because Nexus can't... Oh, Zet, you could have killed Nexus. You shot, mate. Zet, you just threw it for your team. If Zet hadn't shot on the way down, he would have been able to shoot Nexus. Haiba gets the kill on him, though. Haiba was the one able to do that, but had Zet not shot on the way down...
Haiba is dead for a while, mate.
Sorry, Haiba, Yizny. Had Zet not shot on the way down, he could have shot Nexus.
But as I thought, we were going to go in tiebreaker, though I didn't expect it to happen this way. I thought it's going to be defense each, but interesting game here. I would say the main mistake here from Savage Squad was they actually didn't push with everyone up.
They should have just gone up and focused, yeah. They were...
No. They split like a couple of tanks here and 2 here. Kazna did a really good damage focus on lower tanks with Artie and everyone else they had. Brilliant game by Nexus, 5k damage. You can really count on him sometimes when he shows up to play. It just wasn't enough. There was not enough damage done by the rest of the heavies from the Savage Squad. 2 of them were off the game, like E4 and one of the Type 5s, I believe. They were completely away, trying to keep Haiba off, not doing much damage, and the guys on the hill just didn't do the impact they expected. They died too easy.
They took a long time to kill Haiba. He survived, like that very last one, surviving on 69
but
health,
like there was 3 tanks up. They are theoretically super inferior to them.
Well, because
And when they split up, they just didn't do the damage.
yeah, Vetso dropped off the hill, so he wasn't fighting in that. You had Yizne was in the artillery, so he wasn't fighting in it. So they had to overmatch. Had they pushed it all, like you said. But now we're going to go into tiebreaker. Tiebreaker is going to be, I believe, Muravanka. Now, I'm pretty sure Savage Squad's got the fastest cap or the fastest win from Sand River. So they'll get the choice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. It's certainly going to be... Kazna can look back on this and perhaps say, you know, this is points lost no matter how they look at it. I mean, they're only going to get 2 if they win.
Both of the teams now can watch back and say they're the point lost. Like Savage Squad had a tiebreaker against Who Cares, and undoubtedly they had the upper hand in that match and they lost it and they threw it away in a tiebreaker. Kazna can say we are playing against a new team. We should win this by default as a season team. We should, I mean, you no disrespect or anything. But the things are like that. When you play so long in a league, you should be superior to guys that are coming new into the league.
Yeah.
And this is not going well for them. So everyone will try to say what they want now, possibly 2 points, but everyone will get something at least because they deserve it.
Everyone, I mean, both teams are guaranteed at least a point. Now, Savage Squad are going to be attacking. I always think to myself, when you get this map on tiebreaker, does the attacking team gamble and just go for a cap rush and try and end it quickly? We have seen it here with a Ding against Gohard. Ding were on the defense, and Ding, as the defending team, rushed the attacking team and absolutely annihilated them. It doesn't look like there's much rush coming out here from Savage Squad. I mean, they have the double mouse anchor again. It's very similar to what they played before.
We're going to see. You can always use the same tanks and just do the different kind of approach to make the enemy think you're going to play the same. But we're going to see now. Let's see. Latency. Oh, they're actually attacking. So Kazna had a faster game. Interesting. I could swear that Savage Squad had
I thought Savage one was
but
quicker.
maybe they chose attack.
Yeah, I think they maybe chose attack. Now, Savage Squad getting into position. Kazna crew getting themselves into position as well. Kazna crew going with the double STRVs again. Now, in both attack and defense, they outplayed Kazna crew on this map. So maybe they're just trying to rely on individual tactics and play. They're not getting the advantage of getting that quick spot like they did last time.
Well, you can see Kazna has much more mobile setup now. Also, they are paying attention to the spotting of the lower region, which they completely neglected. No FV heavies in defense now. Highbound light tank spotting the lower cap, so they don't want to let that go. That limits Savage Squad by quite a bit, but there is still 2,000 natural HP difference in their favor just because they have heavy tanks.
A little bit of damage there being done to Alpha and his mouse. As Vetso's moved up into advanced position, the double mouse are actually pushing up into the base already here. Zet and Alpha pushing up unchallenged. Now Dares is across from them. He has been spotted already, so he knows there. Danny waiting to get shots over there at the top of the map with Freedom as well. Looking at the viewpoint here from Vetso, as I said, you can see Freedom moving away there from where Danny was. Zet and Alpha now starting the cap in a double mouse.
So this is a plan B for Savage Squad. What would they do if the enemy played differently? It's also a viable one. 2 mouse here in a tank, in a cap. If you really push them, you will get punished. It takes a million years to kill them, and they have a huge cover by those 2 STRVs and the rest of the guys. So the Kazna guys are trying to push the lower side. If you remember from the previous season, there is an angle you can shoot from the lower side to shoot those mouse tanks in the butt. But the problem is there are 2 butchots already waiting there from the Savage Squad.
Latenza and Luti look like they're over there, ready to deal with Haiba. Now, Haiba is spotted when he's pushed up in his light. Yizne taking a little bit of damage here in his pattern. There is a reset coming in. So the double mouse are still continuing to count at 45 seconds on the
Raven
base.
took a lot of damage.
Getting absolutely wrecked up on the hill. He can angle from different ways here. He's great frontally, but anything to the side, and it's Nexus that's farming him like that, then he is wide open to them. So Savage Squad losing the advantage here of being able to have 2 STRVs on the backline. Look at this now. Luti's been focused. They're rushing into Luti to get him down. He's dropped in a second. Diplomat getting the kill for him. This is very well done here from Kazna Crew. But look at the damage taken in return. Diplomat now gets dropped in return for that. Haiba's now down to a 1-shot. Vetso is getting low down as well. So Komi Piotr actually getting the kill on Latenza. And that's the right-hand side of that map cleared out. But Freedom is still there able to do damage as well.
There is still a lot of going on the map. Let's not forget those two mouse tanks and the cap pressure that's going on. Vetso is on a slither of health. I would say some RNG saved him there. He's on 35, but they do have the gun advantage. They have only Diploma down and Latency and Luti. The both fast tanks are down. Raven is on one shot. Still, there is about 1k HP advantage here for Savage Squad and some cap pressure. But Kazna now has the rotation potential to deal with it.
Freedom backs off from that situation at the north
Freedom
of
is
the
the
map.
only thing that can make them win now.
And he got a damaged radio, but it doesn't really matter on this side of the map. Now, however, starting to push over where he can potentially get crossfire shots. Raven is above him, but look at this. The Mouse are continuing to be pummeled here by Yizne, and that cap stuck on now. Ders can peek and get a shot as well. Ders has to be very careful. Yizne's taking one back, and he's got a dead driver, so it's going to affect his mobility from when he's rocking back and forward to do the peaks. It's still on a knife edge there. Like every team, as soon as they gain ground one way, they're losing another. Now,
Kazna is losing so much.
Crew are losing lots of HP here. Freedom getting a double kill here. Call me Piotr getting a double kill here. It's now 4 on 5, but Kazna Crew have 2 one-shots in their team. Vetso and Ders cannot trade with anyone. They take a shot, they're dead.
Alpha and Zed are doing really marvelous work at the moment. Freedom is trying to push and take care of Ders, but never mind, he's down. Vetso is on one shot. Kazna is on the knees here, man.
Haiba is on 16 HP, Vetso's on 35 HP. They've just lost Yizne. Call me Piotr has 1000 HP. It is 113 of hardly any health for Kazna Crew. A Batchat with enough health. Haiba T100 hardly any health against 4 tanks in Savage Squad. They have double mouse, STRV, and a Batchat. I think this one is going to be going to Savage Squad, Mojo.
Piotr is the only guy with any kind of HP. For this to happen, for anything to happen in their favor, they would have to be a chain amount of deaths accumulating. They would have to deal with Freedom, they would have to deal with Danny, and then just keep resetting the mouse tanks. Super hard because Freedom can just push out and kill Vetso any moment he knows where the Batchat is. If he sees where Piotr is, all he needs to do is just go away, push out.
Yep, now all the tanks of Savage Squad are spotted here. The biggest problem is that Kazna Crew need to be able to do damage without taking damage themselves. So triple cap coming in, 15 seconds. Who's going to peak? This is a really nice positioning play from Komi Piotr. He can do a little bit of farming damage here. The mouse is going to protect the Batchats at the back here. If you keep shooting into Zet, that's okay, because they're not going to get a reset in another tank.
That's the problem,
Great
he doesn't see Alpha and he's bouncing off Alpha all the time.
3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. No reset coming in. Nicely done there from Savage Squad, and unfortunate there to Kazna Crew. A result that we really, honestly, didn't expect, but nice to be surprised.
It looked like it's gonna go Kazna's way. They did really well dealing with those 2 Batchats, but the team that was holding off against Cap completely flunked it, honestly, and they didn't reset well enough, preserving enough HP for themselves. That was the main problem here, so they didn't have what to play with in this late part of the game.